Hey, what's up, guys? This is Michael from Karate Breakdown. I'm on a mission to bring back practical karate. This is part one of my series here. I'm actually going to look at common stances, common karate terminology, and show the deeper meaning of these things. So today we're talking about the front stance, Zenku Tsudachi. A lot of times you see people in seminars and stuff, they fixate on the perfect angle of the front stance, and they just fixate on just making it look pretty, making it snap better when you throw that stereotypical reverse punch. There is a proper way to do a front stance, and there is a proper way to maximize the efficiency, the effectiveness of it. But probably the easiest way to do that is to push against something or brace against something. If you guys think you're going to push hard against something, your legs are going to fall into the right position so that you can maximize your body weight and use the right structures, your bone structures, to push against it. Similarly, if you get pushed against, you're going to fall back, take a step back, and brace against that correctly. There's a drill in sumo where they start in one end of the circle in a front stance. They get pushed all the way back as their feet slide on the dirt. And you could see the stance looked exactly like a karate front stance. So there's kind of like this disconnect here where a lot of people go to these older martial artists and ask for this advice on, like, how do I make my stance better? How do I make it more proper? How do I make it look better for tournaments, I guess? But then the easiest way to do that is just try to apply it. And one thing too that's missing with the application, as you guys know with this channel, is the ranges, right? The stereotypical front stance range is like that long distance reverse punch. You throw that pretty Seikan punch that goes right into your opponent's solar plex. But if you look at a real fight has different ranges. It has different types of resistance. It has potential for you to push forward and drive through. It has potential for you to get driven back so that you need to brace onto something. And the front stance applies itself in all these different ranges. So today we're looking at the front stance as a takedown. Of course, as you guys know with this channel, karate is a clinch fighting art with takedowns, that we specialize in clinch fighting, elbows, knees, arm drags, and stuff like that. In addition to that, once you soften up your opponent, you are able to pick them up and drive them down and take them over and sweep them, etc. So we're going to look at a clip here that just shows this individual. I think it's a Shuai Jiao practitioner, and he goes through all these front stance type takedowns. And I think they call it knock over knee throws. And you'll see the front stance just happen over and over again. And I hope it can kind of open your eyes to more than just the aesthetics of it, open your eyes to more the practical applications of it. And of course, the caveat here is I'm helping you see more options, but that doesn't mean anything unless you drill it and practice it with resistance on another person. If you like this type of content, karatebreakdown.com, I got a lot of more videos on there, so hope to see you there, and enjoy. All right, guys, before we begin, I just want to reinforce the idea that the hands redirect the opponent's energy and the stance is what blasts through them. So you can see here, the hands do something first and then the stance follow up as you twist the upper body. So if you keep that in mind, whenever you do a kata, you're actually redirecting your opponent's energy. It could be a strike, it could be a push, and then blasting them through and taking them over with your front stance. You see here he redirects the arm again and pushes them over. So the first one we're going to look at is Seisan Kata. The hands come together as you see here, and then they're going to split apart, one forward, one back, and you're in a front stance here. Afterwards, he squares up his hip and his palm goes facing forward. We'll look at interpretation of that as well. So here's the Shuai Jiao practitioner doing the same exact motion. You can see hands go back, hand goes forward. Here's your perfect front stance, and he's leaning a little bit this way. And the interpretation here is he's blasting through, and look at that, he redirected the punch, have a grip on the wrist, and the arm goes underneath the armpit. His stance is going to step through as he takes his opponent down with the grip here, and he's going to twist his upper body. Another thing to point out here too is you don't want to think about taking your opponent down. You want to think about getting into your perfect front stance. It's a mental shift. Something I mentioned on my website, if you fixate on trying to move your opponent with your limbs, it's going to be too tough. Like my sensei always said, just do the kata and the movement is just going to blast through them. If you have a strong foundation underneath you, they're going to fall over. Look, he ends up in a picture perfect thing, just like as if he did it without the person there. So there's that second part of Seisan where the palm faces out again. He interprets this as a palm to the face. So you can think of it as a strike, but look, it redirects the opponent so that his posture is broken backwards. And then you can see his stance is what takes the person down as he shifts forward. Now this next one we're looking at Pinan Yondan. Anytime you have that reinforced block with a front stance, they do it in threes as usual in katas. Again, he got into a stance, his upper body now is moving and twisting above the stance here. He shows it here with a reinforced block like that, as you see in this arm down here, but when he applies it, he actually has a grip on his opponent, just like that wrist grip in the previous one. And the arm here is now making a hook under the armpit. And what he's going to do is he's going to step into a stance and then his upper body is going to twist. There's a little arch back here with his upper body. The reason for that, it lifts your opponent's center of gravity up off the floor so that it's easier to take him down. This one here, he over-exaggerates the twist. One cool thing to point out here is you're looking to where he's going to fall. You want to spot that position, right? We do this in judo all the time. And it's actually a great thing in karate katas when senseis tell you, look to the direction that you're going. It's not just for aesthetics, it's for practicality, right? Because you want to think about your spine twisting it in its full capacity. If my lower half is pointed this way, but my upper half is doing that as well, then if I try to take the person this way behind me and I just use my arms, my body is not going to twist enough. So I need to look to where he's going to fall so that person falls down here. So here it is with a person, twist. Now this last one's the Yamatsuki, or the mountain punch. Both hands go out, one up and one down. And this reminds me a lot, look at that. Same thing, hands came in and now they're gonna both shoot out. As you'll see here, he ducks down, grabs behind both legs, and then uses his stance in the shoulder work here to bump into him and take him down. Finally, this last couple ones, this reminds me of Goju Shiho. A lot of people interpret this as like a double elbow, which for sure can be done, makes sense, but also look at the stance here and look at the twist of the upper body. This whole theme of this video is that twist, right? So you want your foundation, hands are together or high and you're twisting. Reminds me a lot of this motion here, as you'll see. So look, the hands, the elbows are raised here, you're in a solid stance and you're twisting your upper body as if you are trying to push them over that leg. Right here, the gentleman actually throws an elbow to redirect and misdirect the opponent, and then he uses that bump in the stance to bump him over his thigh. This last one here is that twist from Goju Shiho as well. This reminds me a lot of this motion here. Hands going from one side of your body to the other. Your body's twisting up into this type of stance as you rotate, and it looks a lot like this motion here. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. I've collected a lot of books over the years, as you guys can see, a lot of good names in here. And I think it's time for me to pass it on to other martial artists. So we hit 50,000 subscribers a couple weeks ago, which is pretty insane. And I think I have over 50 books here. So for every 1,000 subscribers, I will randomly draw a name from the subscriber list and send them a free book till we hit 100K. So I think it works out that way. If I run out of books, I think I'll just go out and buy some and then send it to you guys too. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Spread it to your friends. I'm trying to bring back practical karate. And again, check out the website, karatebreakdown.com. Peace.